Hey there. Thanks for spending a piece of your day with me. Today I wanted to take us up through Genesis 45. And as the Bible often does, it'll fast forward through, over sections of a country or a person's life, and then it'll slow down. And you get this real expanded view of some event or a little series of events. So these last couple of chapters, like 42 through 45, really focus on the interactions between Joseph and his brothers as they have come back. And Joseph, when he begins to interact with his brothers, he creates these tests to see if his brothers have changed and what they're like now. We see that the 13 years have seem to have changed his brothers. I would imagine that the guilt of what they had done and seeing the impact that it had on their father, it seems to have softened them. When Joseph talks about making Simeon stay behind, and then asking for for other information about about his father and all of that, their response is to be concerned, and they seem at least somewhat broken, and it's Joseph is doing this testing, and one of the things that I think is easy to miss in the reading of this story is that at the same time that he's testing them, Joseph is actually being tested as well. It's easy for us, I think, to see testing during difficult times. Their faith is being tested when they go through a death or a physical problem or no money or no, that those times test our faith. Joseph is having the opposite. Joseph is now put into a place where he has all of the money, all of the power, all of the praise, and he is being tested by those things. When you have all of that, it is very easy for your character to come out in negative ways. And so the way in which he deals with his brothers is very telling. He could have taken revenge on them. He had all the right and authority, and some would even say he'd be justified to do that. And yet he shows restraint rather than taking revenge. I see, in the world today, I see what happens sometimes when people get a lot of money or they get into a position of celebrity or whatever, and what it does to them. It reminds me of one of my favorite passages here in Proverbs 27, verse 21. It says, "The crucible for silver and the furnace for gold, but man is tested by the praise that he receives." And I think that is a trap for us to fall into, the praise of men. Joseph was in a place where he had the money, he had the power, he had the authority. I'm sure that he was getting the praise of men, and I'm sure it must have, on some level, been very tempting for him to get revenge. And yet we see him show his amazing character, where he is willing to forgive them and wants them to come and live with them and wants to be reunited with them. And so we talked about before how we need to be persistent and get through things, and sometimes there's difficult things that instead of crushing us, they should be building up our character. But we have the opposite that we also need to remember, that when the good things come, what will our character reveal?